The following podcast contains alcohol-enhanced conversations about alcohol, as well as a potential for discussions about other topics of dubious, disturbing, possibly offensive, but usually hilarious interest. The opinions stated herein are solely of the person stating them, and any endorsement of these opinions by any other party is not implied. Foul language is likely, but intolerant viewpoints are not. Listener intoxication is advised.
You're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Yeah. You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking.
Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Tangent Podcast's Whiskey Madness 2020, the final pour, a 4-week-long blind tasting tournament featuring 16 whiskeys from America, Scotland, and Ireland, modeled after the most famous bracket competition of all, NCAA basketball's March Madness. Joining me, as always, is Ed.
Hey, everyone.
And our friend and bartender extraordinaire, Anders.
Thanks for having me again.
Our venue is the stunning Whiskey Tangent Arena in beautiful downtown Marlton, New Jersey, otherwise known as my kitchen. And the crowd is just electric with anticipation. But first, if you haven't already, go and get your Whiskey Madness bracket at sites.google.com/view/whiskey-tangent/the-final-pour. A link is in the description, or you could go to Facebook or Twitter, so you can follow along. But to describe things just briefly, we have 4 whiskey brackets: bourbon, rye, Scotch, and Irish, each of which contains 4 whiskeys that Ed and I will taste blind in a series of battles in successive rounds to see who reaches the final pour. Today we're doing round 1 of the American brackets, and Ed's going to kick us off by revealing the 4 bourbons and the 4 ryes that are looking to make their whiskey dreams come true.
Thanks, Scott. That's right. So for the bourbons, we have Larceny, Willet Pot Still, Old Forester, Prohibition Style 1920, and Henry McKenna 10-year Bottled in Bond. For the ryes, we have Willet Family Estate Rye, Bulleit Rye, Pikesville Rye, and Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. And from these, we hope to have a winner. I don't know where I was going with that, but so we're gonna have the 4 bourbons are going to face off, and then the 4 ryes. This is the first taste. So at the end of this round, we'll have 2 and 2 to move on.
Right.
So a few stipulations we had from our own personal selection process was that none of the whiskeys that we featured in our Rankers Top 10 list could be in the tournament, and none of them could be over $60. We wanted this to be something that was accessible to the mainstream whiskey drinker. And there's some interesting matchups, and we'll let you know where they were seated at and the process that we went through or didn't go through to make that happen.
Yeah, so we're going to do the bourbon bracket first. Our first matchup is the Old Forester versus Willet Pot Still.
Yeah, the Pot Still is coming in as a 3rd seed.
Right.
The Willet Pot Still Reserve, small batch bourbon, aged 8 to 10 years. It's got a 94 proof, 72% corn, 13% rye, 15% malted barley. Now, here's one of the most popular bourbon expressions from a company that puts out some fantastic products. The Kentucky Bourbon Distillers, aka Willet Distillery, they have Noah's Mill, Rowan's Creek as 2 higher proof expressions that are well liked and respected. The Willet Pot Still was originally released in 2008 as a single barrel expression. However, by 2015, it was changed to a small batch release. In an interesting twist, Willet did not actually distill on their property until around 2012. While they've not revealed conclusively, Scott, where the pot stills actually distilled, it's strongly believed that it's done by Heaven Hill Distillery just a half mile down the road.
Wow.
It is ironic that 3 of the bourbons on this list were most likely distilled at the same location. Some people feel like Noah's Mill or Rowan's Creek would be a better matchup against Old Forester 1920. However, at 94 proof, The pot still from Willet is anything but thin. It has to rely on its unique flavor to carry the round, a flavor filled with a strong notes of oak, vanilla, and butterscotch.
All right. Anders, what do you think of the Willet pot still? We had it among those others that Ed mentioned at the local lounge tasting that you hosted.
Absolutely. I think the Willet pot still is a fabulous bourbon. And I've always maintained the fact that Kentucky bourbon distilleries that puts out Willet and Rowan's Creek and Noah's Mill, they don't do anything bad at all. Everything is very approachable in price, very approachable in proofage. And so I think Willet pot still has a very comfortable place over at third. And I'm very excited to see how it ends up matching up to our next seat.
I'm a little surprised that the selection committee chose this one over the other ones. I would have taken any of the Willet expressions, even the Kentucky Pure XO.
Yeah, the Pure Kentucky XO is tremendous. I always champion that.
That could be at a future tournament.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm not upset that the pot still is on here because that's terrific.
Right. And at 94, like I said, it's not thin, but it's got a heck of a lot of proof to make up here to have a strong, finish.
Funny you mentioned that because its opponent, the Old Forester 1920, its proof is 115. It is a Prohibition style bourbon. Its mash bill is 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. Its distiller, bottle, and owner is Brown-Forman. They were featured on part 2 of our Prohibition Whiskeymentary. It's called a Prohibition style whiskey because of its 115 proof, which was the typical barrel proof at the time prior to bottling. Brown-Forman was one of only 6 distilleries to be granted medicinal license during Prohibition and today owns such notable whiskeys as Jack Daniel's and Woodford Reserve.
Haven't heard of them.
The Old Forester brand is celebrating its 150th anniversary.
Wow. They must be doing something right.
And their tasting notes are caramel, brown sugar, mint, vanilla frosting, peanut butter, cocoa, and toasted oak. Anders, what do you think about the Old Forester 1920?
I'm really excited to see how the 1920 does. I'm pretty confident saying that is my favorite expression of Old Forester. But that being said, I think it's a great kind of matchup. They both have really strong candy notes between all the caramel and brown sugar that they both really pull out of the barrel. I really do think it's going to come down to the proofage between the Old Forester 115 versus the Willet pot still.
And the truth be told, with the 115 proof of the Old Forester 1920, it has the tenacity to take the bracket, but it also has the strength, I think, to take the tournament.
Wow. So I think the only thing left now is to actually do the tasting. Anders is going to move over to the preparation area and we'll come back and I'll read the rules.
Years and I still ain't pop. Got blackballed and I still ain't stop. Finna flip out, you can call the cops. What they gonna say? Let the beat drop.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm going to read the rules. We have 4 tasting glasses, 2 marked A and 2 marked B. For each matchup, Anders will pour 3/4 of an ounce of one whiskey into each glass A, 3/4 of an ounce of the other whiskey into each glass B. And note these choices on the official Whiskey Madness, the Final Pour referee's scorecard. Anders will then give Ed and I each a glass A and a glass B. Ed and I will first taste glass A neat, add a half an ounce of water, or however much we prefer, taste it again, and repeat with glass B. When Ed and I have made our separate choices, we will write them down on our official Whiskey Madness, the Final Pour tasting scorecards, and hand them to Anders, who will read the results. If Ed and I choose the same whiskey, Anders will declare that whiskey the winner. If we did not choose the same whiskey, then Ed and I will pour Anders 3/4 of an ounce of whiskey into glass A and glass B, and then Anders will taste them both neat and with some water as we did and declare his choice the winner. First up, Old Forester 1920 versus Willet Pot Still. Anders, please give us the glasses.
All right. We're going to start with glass A.
All right, we're going to taste it.
It's pretty tense right now. Feel the tension within the room.
Ooh, peanutty. This is so good.
Delicious.
Okay, we have water in it now. So what we're trying to avoid is trying to assign, I think this is whatever, and I think that's the other whiskey. So
right.
I think because we're going to mess ourselves up if we try to do that.
At face value,
Yeah.
We got it.
Right, here we are with glass B.
Glass B. Here it is. Ooh.
I thought I knew what the first one was.
I thought I did too.
Now
but
I don't think I do now.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think I do now.
All right.
Now I'm going to put some water
All right,
in.
yeah. Looks like you guys have added some water.
This is so much fun. I love my non-job. Oh, God. All right. We're handing Anders our official scorecards.
All right. It's under review. Huh. We have a tie.
Oh, damn it.
Haven't already.
Damn it. I picked B. So, Ed, you must have picked A.
I picked A, and it was close, but I thought that A had more flavor.
Okay.
Anders is going to have to break the first tie of the tournament.
Overtime. Okay, so Ed has poured the whiskeys into glass A and glass B for Anders, and he is handing Anders glass A right now.
Right. I've got my glass A.
All right.
And B.
B is right there as well.
A. A little bit neat.
He's contemplating.
He's thinking.
It's nice.
They're both nice.
I have to say, being on this side of the bar for
Right.
the first time
Right.
on Whiskey Tangent is an honor, and I want to thank you both for
you're
allowing me to
very
sit
welcome.
down and have a drink.
Right. The first time I ever got to give Anders a drink.
That's right.
Yeah, I know.
It's like really,
That's true.
we should definitely do this more often.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hop on the bar so much.
My ed-iquette needs to be worked on.
Ed-iquette. Nice.
All right, let me try B.
B neat.
Wow, that's really good as well.
He's going to add some water to B.
Certainly weren't going to make this easy on ourselves.
Right. All right.
All right.
Do you have a decision?
I have a decision, yes.
Okay.
So is he going to tell me the letter and I just announce the winner then?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going to go with B.
B.
An upset. Willet Pot still.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
The same way. Willet Pot still has
Yeah.
come through with an upset. Unbelievable. I thought that Old Forester could possibly take the tournament. They came in here on,
Yeah.
on a high streak with their brand being the number one in the local, feeling really big and kind of cocky, I think. And then boom, out of nowhere,
Absolutely. Well,
Willet Pot still with a close overtime upset in round one.
upset my favorite Old Forester.
Yeah, I feel like Brown Foreman, as the coach here, has failed their players. This is a devastating loss for Brown Foreman at this tournament.
I think that I possibly might have put too much water into the Old Forester when I tasted it. And then when I took my second sip of it, instead of getting a lot of flavor, it just tastes a little bit watered down. So then I went back to A, and the flavor from the old pot still was just butterscotchy and just, like you said, candy notes. It was just delicious. Like, you know what? This is winning the day for me right now. And that's why I went that way.
I will say that now that I know which whiskey is which, I do prefer Old Forester 1920, but the smell of the Old Willet pot still is tremendous. And, you know, smell is most of taste. So
Right. So we started out the tournament with an upset, which I think is exciting right out of the gates.
Very exciting.
it's to
Big,
say that I'm a little
yeah.
disappointed in the 1920, but I'm not upset at the upset.
Right. I mean, we seeded the Old Forester on purpose because we thought
We did.
it was better than the Willet. And I'm actually kind of stunned.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting in regards to the proofage, kind of seeing how it plays out since it's right in between the Larceny and Henry McKenna tenure.
Right.
So,
See, whoever they catch, it's going to be interesting.
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Well,
All
then
right.
we're going to take a quick pause and we're going to prepare Henry McKenna, the top seed, going against that upstart Larceny.
Going crazy. Doing it for years and I still ain't pop. Got blackballed and I still ain't stop. Finna flip out, you can call the cops. What they gonna say? Let the beat drop.
So we're back, ready to do round two, which was our top seed Henry McKenna versus that upstart Larceny after a stunning upset
Stunning.
in the first round.
Yeah, so Larceny is a wheated bourbon. Its mash bill is proprietary. It's 92 proof. Has no age statement. Its distiller and bottler is the Heaven Hill Company. There we are. Again,
Heaven Hill.
The owner is the Shapira family. Some fun facts. Larceny was featured on episode 12, paired with Maker's Mark, which is also a wheated bourbon. It's named for the pilfering ways of John E. Fitzgerald, a former treasury agent who went to work for Pappy Van Winkle and would take from his best barrels. Larceny is made in honor of the wheated bourbons of Pappy Van Winkle himself. And though their mash bill is proprietary, they say their wheat content is a third more than their competitors. So taking Maker's Mark, for an example, its wheat content could be as high as 22%. Its tasting notes are molasses, caramel, vanilla, cherries, spice, citrus, and oak.
Interesting.
And who's it going against, Ed?
Well, you know, it's going against our top seed in the bourbon bracket, Henry McKenna, 10-year age, single barrel, bottled and bond by, again, Heaven Hill. 100 proof, 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. The journey number 1. A few years ago, Henry McKenna tenure at number 1 would have been unheard of. They were not that well known. Used to get it for $29 a bottle. However, it was its upset last spring that paved the way for where it's sitting in this year's tournament. On March 24th, 2019, San Francisco World Spirits Competition, it was judged best whiskey at the show, not just best bourbon.
Right.
Now, 4 months ago, Scott and I had it on our podcast. We feel it edged out another great tenure expression in Russell Reserve. It's become a personal favorite of mine, and I expect it to take the bracket. But there is an element of, that makes it ripe for an upset, and that is the fact that it is a single barrel expression.
Right.
A post published on Breaking Bourbon said that after they won that award in San Francisco, it started by saying, and then there was one, you'll probably never get to taste it though. Meaning that because it was a single barrel expression, there's only about 150 bottles out there that had the winning recipe that was at that competition. However, the upset wasn't pulled out of thin air. Henry McKenna Single Barrel won the double gold and best single barrel bourbon and best bourbon at the same competition the year before. That shows consistency, and I've always thought that Henry McKenna was one of the most consistent single barrels in the industry.
You know, one of the things I find that'll definitely make this a very close match is the proofage. 92 versus 100 as a bottled and bond is going to be a lot more comfortable of a space to really compare. It's going to be a really, really tight race. And in addition, I think a lot of those cake-like notes that you're going to get, the cherry, the lemon cake kind of flavor you're going to get out of the Larceny is really going to shine through versus the excellent yet more traditional bottled and bond. So I think it's actually going to be a very close, surprising matchup.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is the thing you mentioned, the single barrel expression. It may not be the exact same, even though it might be consistent.
Yeah.
So whatever barrel that we happen to have may or may not be better than Larceny today.
Right. So just because Larceny wins today doesn't mean that Henry McKenna tenure is not a better expression overall. We're not saying that.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So let's get to it. Andres is passing us the glasses.
Here are my initials.
Here comes the
Yes,
A.
the A glass.
And we're smelling it.
Nosing, sipping.
McKenna and Larceny. Okay. I'm not supposed to do that.
Okay.
Oh, wait, let me put some water in this one.
Those are the two options that you have.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out which one you just drank.
Yeah, I know. It's hard not to. Oh, that one is so much nicer with water in it.
A little bit. It opens up some stuff, and it's completely different than the first two, by the way, that we tried in the first round. Try the B, then we get a little bit of a water.
Oh, a little cleanser. We have some lime raspberry sparkling spring water from Trader Joe's as our palate cleanser.
T. Joe's.
Ooh, yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's my favorite flavor. They have like 90 flavors, like lemon and grapefruit, but star fruit.
Can I go on a tangent on exotic fruits?
Sure.
Exotic fruits are overrated.
Oh, okay.
Star fruits are not that great.
They're not.
Passion fruits are not that great. Dragon fruit is just a bitch. Fruits, delicious. Dragons, amazing.
Yeah.
Put them together. Dragon fruit. You would expect something amazing, right?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
It is just a...
They're overselling themselves.
Yes.
We're a dragon
Yeah.
fruit. We're going to fuck your shit up. And you're tasting it's all right.
It's what I imagine sex with Lady Gaga is like.
Oh, Jesus. Right. You expect it to be this amazing thing.
Yes.
She's wearing...
Transcendental. She's wearing a meat dress.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then you actually enjoy the dragon fruit and it's just, oh, I've had this before.
Yeah. This is just...
And it's out of season.
Right. Oh, God.
Not a fan. All right. Ed has his ticket in.
It was tougher than I expected. I have no idea which one I selected.
Interesting.
I got completely confused. I feel like there's some similar tasting notes between both of them.
Absolutely.
Are you finding that, Scott?
Yes.
Gonna be really interesting.
So I've made my choice
right.
as well.
Scott has made his choice.
And the verdict is...
It's a tie.
No, it's not a tie.
It is a tie.
Oh, come on.
Damn
It
it.
is a tie.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
Scott
chose
has chosen
B.
A.
Yeah.
Ed has chosen B.
All right.
Wow.
I get to have another drink.
That's good. The episode is spiraling out of control.
Overtime. Okay, so Ed has poured the 2 whiskeys for Anders to break the tie.
All right. I have whiskey A.
He's contemplating whiskey A.
I have to stop saying this is really. It's
Well, they're all really good. They're
There's nothing in this tournament that sucks.
right. Well, we'll get to the scotches.
Right, we're doing.
Sorry.
We're including this just to make ourselves better people.
I think you're gonna really enjoy that Lagavulin one.
Right.
We're hoping.
All right.
Foreshadowing.
So he's put some water into the
Into whiskey A.
whiskey A.
Right?
Looks delicious from here. Just watching him drink A.
I still have some of
So
mine.
you smell he's nosing B. He's taking a sip of whiskey B. Neat.
Okay.
The fact that the 4 has taken the top seed into overtime is stunning enough. Can you imagine if we have a dual upsets?
I did not think for a second that we would have more than one disagreement.
Today.
Yeah, of the 4 matchups that we had today. Now we have 2 in a row. I can't wait to do the Ryes.
I know.
It's going to be a nightmare.
He's
add a little bit more water.
going back to A.
More water in
He
A.
still can't decide. It's that close.
Dude, it was close. It was.
I'm going to go with B.
B. What's B?
The top seed prevails in overtime. Henry McKenna.
Wow.
Henry McKenna, 10-year bottom bomb by a nose.
And I picked the wrong one again.
Or the right one for you.
No, I suck.
So close, though.
Yeah, it was really close.
I was sweating during mine. I was like, I love Henry McKenna, but I'm not sure which one I like better. But there's a density to the Henry McKenna.
Yes, absolutely. There's a depth.
There's a depth to the flavor. That's another layer that Larceny doesn't have, but you have to wait for it. It's there in the finish.
Yeah.
It finishes longer than the Larceny. All right, so moving ahead to the bourbon bracket will be Willet Pot Still, and it'll take on Henry McKenna.
Right, and that'll be in 2 weeks.
And now we're going to move into the rye bracket. We have 4 American ryes. The 4th seed will be Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. 3rd seed is Pikesville Rye. The 2nd seed is Willet Family Estate Rye, Single Barrel, aged 4 years. And the top rye, as anyone who listens to the podcast closely would know, is Bulleit Rye.
Right. Don't be surprised.
I'm shocked and appalled.
So,
Are you appalled? You're not. You're neither.
No.
Yeah. The first matchup, Willet Family Estate Rye versus Pikesville. So Pikesville, it's a straight rye whiskey. Its mash bill is 51% rye, 39% corn, 10% malted barley. It's proofed at 110. Age is more than 6 years. It's from the Heaven Hill Distillery.
there they are again.
There they are
again.
Yeah.
There they are again.
Yeah. So some fun facts about the brand. It was first produced in 1890s Maryland, shuttered by Prohibition. Go back and listen to our Prohibition Whiskeymentary, 4 parts. It's awesome. Right, Ed?
Very informative.
It reemerged after Prohibition and was sold under different ownerships until 1972. Heaven Hill purchased the brand in 1982, but didn't reintroduce it into the market in 2015. It is speculated that Pikesville Rye is Rittenhouse Rye bottled in bond, aged an extra 2 years, and bottled 10 proof higher. The tasting notes are cherries, rye spice, vanilla, and summer fruits.
Yeah, summer fruits.
Wouldn't be summer without jam.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know
where that came from. The 2nd seed that it's going to match up against is the Willet Family Estate Rye Single Barrel, aged 4 years. It's 110 proof, 95% rye, 5% malted barley. Coming in as the exact same source MGP rye whiskey as our top seed, the Bulleit Rye. The Willet family has found a way to add depth and complexity to this mix by keeping it at a really high proof. If it gets by Pikesville in the first round, I would expect an interesting bracket final against the top seeded Bulleit Rye. The taste is bold, with strong notes of rye spice, some brown sugar and dark cherry notes, some wood notes on the finish as well. There's no reason that this could not take the bracket. And honestly, I think it has a legitimate shot to win the whole tournament.
Oh, shit.
It's that good. It is, again, shocking that it's only aged 4 years. Whatever Willet's secret is, they should be forced to share it so we get all the distilleries to put out amazing products like this every 4 years.
Yeah, so the rye distribution here is way out of whack. So we got a 95% rye versus a 51% rye. It's just qualifying for a rye.
Correct.
Anders, what do you think about this matchup?
I'm really excited to see how this goes. In the bourbon matchups, I think it really did come down to not so much the mash bill or the age per se, as it really did to the proofage.
Yeah.
This one, the proofage is pretty comparable.
Very
So I
comparable.
really think it's going to come down to the mash bill, that rye content. In the Pikesville, I think the proofage versus the spice that you get from the rye, which can be easily mixed up as heat, really comes in, and I thoroughly enjoy that. So comparing that to the Willet Rye, which once again, I feel that KBD does no wrong. Kentucky Bourbon Distilleries, everything they do is incredible. And that rye, that 4-year rye in particular, is no slouch at all.
It's so incredible.
I'll be honest. I think if Willet gets by Pikesville in this round, it has what it takes to win the whole tournament.
Absolutely.
I will be shocked if Pikesville upsets Bulleit Rye at this point. I think that when we're tasting the ryes, we have to keep in mind that spiciness.
The flavor will carry the day. We will not be faked out by heat, good or bad. Whether it hurt the Old Forester or helped the Henry McKenna, we'll never really know. This time it's 110 versus 110. Bring your flavor profile with you. Let's see who wins, because it's going to be very comparable.
Yeah. All right. So Anders is going to pour a little bit of the Willet Family Estate Rye and the Pikesville Rye, and we'll be right back.
Years and I still ain't pop. Got blackballed and I still ain't stop. Finna flip out, you can call the cops. What they gonna say? Let the beat drop.
Okay, so Anders has poured us our first rye matchup, the Willet Family Estate versus Pikesville, into glasses A and B, and he's going to hand us glass A. Ooh.
Oh my God, that's so good. Oh, it's
so much dill. There's dill there.
I am such a sucker for dill. It comes from like a spice palette that I grew up with. Dill makes me think of my mom making soup.
Oh.
I don't know if I brought this up, but my mom is Scandinavian, off the boat. And so
Right. Swedish, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ja, det finns. So
say that again.
Nej, tack. So things like dill really kind of like are nostalgic for me versus like cardamom and coriander.
I see.
Cinnamon for the spice side
versus the warm spices.
Yeah,
You're
so
more of
not
the
as much
astringent.
as like I thoroughly enjoy garlic by osmosis of living in New Jersey.
Right.
It's funny though, for me and Scott, we both have pulled back from garlic from when we were younger. Like when I was in my 20s and even mid 30s, I liked everything with garlic, and now it can dominate a taste for me, and it'll like repeat on me all night.
I feel like you should use garlic like you use salt. If you put too much salt in something, it's going to be absolutely terrible. But there's a lot of people out there who like over garlic stuff, and I just cannot abide by it.
Or I ask you to roast it. If you roast it, you kill some of the pungency and you get the flavor.
That is different.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Especially like if you go all the way to black garlic.
Never go back.
You never go back.
Once you go black garlic, you never go back garlic.
As I'm off to say over in the local lounge, all things in moderation, including moderation.
I need the B now.
Off to B.
Exactly. Oh.
All right, there we go.
B.
Yeah.
A was quite good.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that is a punch in the face.
Wow.
Oh. Fuck.
I feel like an evil genius knowing the answer. That's such a great reaction.
Can I have a sip of that A?
No.
I drank all my A.
No. Why did you drink all of your A?
Because I got excited. But it's okay.
This is going to be so good.
Okay, we're handing in our cards. I know it's going to be another tie. I just know it. We are not on the same page today.
I think that just makes for better podcasting.
Maybe. So what's the verdict?
It's a tie.
Oh, God damn it. God damn it.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
All right.
All right,
Well,
we'll be right back.
That's tremendous.
Anders is getting to drink every round, though, so that's a plus for him.
I like this.
overtime. Okay, so Ed has poured the whiskeys for Anders at another tie-breaking situation.
We don't have time for this.
This is going to be insane.
This is
I'm handing over glass A.
way too nerve-wracking.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have confidence that I am going to be able to tell which is which.
I tell you right now, I had trouble.
I had trouble too.
I really wasn't sure which one I was choosing.
No.
But I said, you know what? I'm diving in. I'm going to choose the one I thought best.
Okay, I'm going to try A now.
He's trying A.
You know, Ed, as much as we agree on whiskey, we've disagreed 3 times.
It's interesting today.
Yeah.
But remember, we agreed enough to have them all on the tournament. So we're in the same ballpark with each other. We're just kind of like,
Man.
That's so delicious.
it's spectacular.
Let me try a little bit of B before I make some comments.
Right.
Both are exceptional. I think people sleep on how floral rye can be. I mean, I always champion the fact that bourbon is like cornbread and rye is like rye bread. That's kind of how you tell the difference. One is really spicy and hearty and grows up north, and the other grows down south, and it's really sweet and savory.
Right.
Rye, particularly ryes that come into prominence over the past, like, let's say 15 years or so, are so floral. And I think people don't appreciate that as much. And that's something that I'm really getting out of both of these ryes in particular.
These are really traditional expressions of what rye whiskey should taste like.
Right.
Absolutely.
Except what's amazing is how close they are
Yeah.
and having such a different mash bill.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so much more rye in the
Right.
Willet, and yet the Pikesville is standing right next to it going, I'm a rye.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's aged a little bit more, it held more of the rye flavor.
Right.
Like, that's interesting to think about, too.
It is.
So who's going to be the winner? He's going back and forth between A and B.
I'm going to go with B.
B, what is it?
The Willet. Willet
Yeah.
Family Estate Rye in a nose again.
Yes.
Me and Anders.
Yes.
And
I am the also ran again.
What if it ends up being Willet in the semifinals? Willet v. Willet.
oh, it could be. No, absolutely could be.
It could, yeah.
That
Yeah,
is,
we knew that.
That is a reality now.
Yeah, we
face.
knew that going
Yeah.
forward. Will it be will it?
That would be incredible.
It may be.
But I think all this has done is validate Pikesville existence and Heaven Hill again having a very, very fine expression
Heaven
all
Hill.
through the tournament.
Telling you.
And I have to tell you, most people walking around just don't even know who Heaven Hill is. But with Elijah Craig and Henry McKenna and Larceny and Pikesville now, it's just everywhere you turn. And they have this corn mash one, like this mellow yellow corn one that I don't even.
Yeah.
I've never even tried it, but I mean, I'm
that
sure.
high corn whiskey.
And today, before we got started, we pre-gamed with Henry McKenna, not the 10-year,
Yeah.
the $17 fifth
Yeah,
of
that's
Henry
right.
McKenna just to see.
man.
And it was delicious. It was sweet and approachable and not as complex as what we're doing right now. But I mean, holy crap, if you want to drink something every day, I mean, you can't go wrong with it at $17 a bottle. All right, so we're going to move on. Hopefully, Scott and I can get this one right.
Or I can get one right.
Because so far, he's been
I'm 0 for 3.
He's been
Thanks.
beat up by Anders and I,
Yeah.
choosing the right one.
Fuckers.
Going crazy. Going crazy. Going crazy. Doing it for years and I still ain't pop. Got blackballed and I still ain't stop. Finna flip out, you can call the cops. What they gonna say? Let the beat drop.
So the next matchup we have is, oh man, it's our favorite Bulleit Rye versus Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. And I'm going to take Bulleit Rye first. The proof is 90. There's no age statement. The distiller is MGP. The bottler is Bulleit Distilling Company. The owner is Diageo. Fun facts, it was featured on our very first episode, and we probably mentioned it on every other episode and shirt that we've ever
We were
done.
so young and spry with the first episode.
I know, weren't we? It's our favorite go-to whiskey for cocktails. I always have some on my whiskey shelf.
As I do in my house right now.
It's the best price to taste value, I think, on the market, and perhaps the best rye whiskey under $60. A fact that we're testing in this tournament. It was only launched in 2011, and they have a 12-year aged expression as well.
Yes.
Tasting notes, vanilla, toffee, caramel, cinnamon, cloves, and pepper.
Greatness.
So, Ed, what's amazing about Bulleit Rye's Challenger is I don't think a lot of people even know that Jack Daniel's has a single barrel rye.
Right. And I'll tell you right now, the selection committee has gotten a lot of flack from the minions.
They have.
Jack Daniel's is the most popular selling whiskey in the country.
It is.
In the world.
And its vast army of fans are complaining loudly that this is the expression picked to be in the tournament by the selection committee. Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. First of all, this is the first expression not to use a traditional 80% corn, 12% barley, 8% rye since 1866. So we're picking a selection that is un-Jack Daniel's like. Okay,
Yes.
nothing else is like it, and I
Right.
think that's why we picked it.
I agree.
It has traditional tasting notes and flavors of a high-quality rye, with notes of cinnamon, vanilla, and of course rye, mixing into a long finish with some hints of some dark, sweet fruits. Now, it seems like a really tough task here, trying to upset the house favorite Bulleit Rye, which Scott and I can pick in our dreams. You could put 10 down and we'll pick out Bulleit Rye. So, but as we've shown today, we're going to go with what tastes good today.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of experience with the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye.
We don't.
Which is 70% rye, 18% corn, and 12% malted barley, coming in at a strong 94 proof.
Right. Again, so the mash bill of the Bulleit Rye, 95% rye and 5% malted barley. So again, we have a big difference in rye content.
It's the question is, will the Jack Daniel's bring a little more sweetness and flavor to it that we're not expecting?
Maybe.
So we'll see.
So, Anders, what do you think about the Bulleit Rye and Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye matchup.
I'm going to call it right now. I think this is going to be a tiebreaker, and I think it's going to fuck
damn.
with both of you, and it's going to come up in the podcast till the end of days. The Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye is unlike any other thing that the Jack Daniel's puts out. It is an incredible rye whiskey from a company that is so iconic, but is not known for rye and is not known for anything other than Old Number 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra did not put a bottle of Single Barrel Rye up and be like, this is the nectar of the gods. And I think that's really what makes it special and unique.
All right.
So what I'm hearing is if we want to continue to pursue getting sponsorship from Bulleit Rye, it cannot go to a tie. That's what I'm hearing. Because Anders is going to slam dunk on the Jack Daniels if he gets it in his mouth. So
Foreshadowing.
We'll see how it goes.
So
I'm
we'll
calling
see
it
how
right
good-
now.
All right.
And Anders has handed us the two whiskeys, A and B.
All right. A.
Very spicy.
A.
AA.
Really
Is it
peppery.
the meeting group? Is it my initials? Who can say? Who can say? AA.
Interesting.
Hmm.
A little bit of water in there.
Oh.
We've had a lot to drink.
Yeah. Any early impressions on A?
It's
Sweet, but yet there's a pepper on the tongue.
it's more peppery than I thought either of them were going to be.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Interesting. First impressions on B?
It's harsh on the nose.
It's got a little more fire to it.
Yeah,
Feels like a little more fire.
Interesting.
It's fiery.
Higher eye, maybe.
Swish it with some water.
It's really close. Closer than I expected. Fuck Anders is right again.
Interesting.
Fuck
It'll
fuck
be
right
interesting.
again.
I called it earlier that this is going to be a tie as well. We've had
had
three
three. Yeah.
so far. Be interesting to see if all of these matchups, very well seeded, in my opinion, end up being a tie between the two. All right. Ed has submitted. Scott has submitted.
I feel like if I have the wrong answer, my whole life is a failure.
I feel like I'm a fraud right now because I don't know which one I chose.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you both have chosen A,
Yes.
Yes. And A is
which is Bulleit Rye.
Yes, validation.
All right.
Oh my God, we did
All
it
right.
finally.
That Bulleit sponsorship is coming.
So
I was wrong.
No, but were you wrong? Because I was incredibly conflicted.
Right?
I was so afraid that I'd chosen Jack Daniels. I wanted Bulleit to win so bad, but I wasn't sure because they were so good.
yeah. They're both delicious. So more props to Jack Daniel's Single Barrel. in this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It belonged in the tournament. It represented itself fantastically.
Yeah. So all the JD lovers who
Right.
hated the fact that this is the expression that we put in our tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, fuck you. This deserved it, even though it just lost.
Even though it just lost.
So in the future, would you have seeded it higher, maybe? Kind of situation?
Not above these three, but above others, possibly.
Yeah, like it's moved up in my mind.
Yeah.
Like the reason the selection committee chose this particular expression
Yeah.
was that it was my birthday present and we already had it. So it's good enough to be in.
It entirely stands out.
Especially, by the way, drinking all four of these at the same time. I don't feel like there was any drop off
No.
for the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye.
I feel like the reason why I did not pick the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel because it was just a little bit harsher than the Bulleit.
It wasn't as smooth. Anders,
It wasn't as smooth.
Pour yourself a little bit if you want.
Absolutely.
Right.
Wow, I'm surprised it was as close as
I was sweating.
we made it
insane.
out to be.
Yeah.
But again, this is why we're doing it blind.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is why the whole reason we're doing it.
It makes it all the more thrilling. So, just to reiterate the matchups, we have that initial upset, the Willet pot still bourbon,
Right.
against the Old Forester 1920.
Yeah.
Will now be going up against the Henry McKenna 10-year, the 2017 Whiskey of the Year from the San Francisco
Spirits competition.
Yeah, that's going to be insane.
That'll be
Kinda.
great. That'll be so much fun.
And then in the rye bracket, we've got the Willet, which pulled ahead in a really close matchup against Pikesville.
Very close.
Yeah, in my mind, another tiebreaker. Really, really floral.
Right.
Very comparable expressions of rye. That Willet barely just pulling ahead against
Yeah.
Pikesville.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the favorite.
Yeah.
That Bulleit
Bulleit
95.5 rye.
And yet we were sweating it out to the fourth period.
We're going to have two versions of the 95.5 MGP
Yeah.
going in the finals. And it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
It really will. So we're going to do, just to say coming up, the British Isles whiskeys, the Scotch and Irish, will be next week, March 12th. The round twos, all 4 brackets, their finals, which will be on March 19th. That'll be in 2 weeks.
Right.
And then the final pour will be 3 weeks from now, the last week in March.
That's going to be incredible. Do you mind if I plug some stuff real quick?
No, we need
Sure,
you to.
no, go ahead.
Yeah,
At the local.
thanks for having me, guys. Over at the local lounge, by the time you hear this episode, we will have March Whiskey Wednesday. It's actually, we're breaking the rules on this one.
Oh.
We'll be doing a 3-course tasting with green spot, yellow spot, and red spot. Mitchell's and Son, bangers, and an apple mash paired with the green
Nice.
spot. We'll be doing a lamb with the yellow spot, and then the red spot will be paired with this delightful tart. So
Yes.
we're really excited to have all of that going on. Plenty more tastings coming up. Also, the 100 Whiskey Club. It's free to sign up over at the local lounge in Mount Holly, New Jersey.
I'm 4th.
Yes. Ed is ranked 4th. It is not a competition. I will swear
It's a
up and
personal.
down.
It's not a competition, but the members, we like to see who can get out there and be adventurous.
Yeah, really looking to seeing both of you, and I'd love to have some of your listeners come out to those events.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Anders, for coming and helping us out.
All right, to wrap up this first round of the Whiskey Madness, the final pour, I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
I'm Anders.
Tune in next week when we see who wins with the Scotch and Irish.
Awesome.
Going over the pond, as they say.
All right, we're going heading back over.
Across the pond.
All right, man. Late, everybody.
Later.
Just gonna take that. Make 'em take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Yeah. You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just fake it.